So we're in the Zoom. Oh, look, that's coming. Maybe. Maybe not. I want to look at Jillian's project because this might be something that some of you are thinking of doing something like, and this is similar to Michael's. And I don't know, I didn't post that video, so I'll have to post that video this morning as soon as I'm done talking because we spent some time with your project on Tuesday. Even though you weren't here, it's okay. Could have joined from home by Zoom. And so eventually that computer will catch up. But so in Jillian's, if you set the what's it called, the screen view to Zoom, then her project might make more sense. She's thinking, I thought it made a lot of sense as it was. But I just wanted to sort of give you an idea. So it starts, oh, I don't know where the home is. Oh. And you need to start setting home, right? So that we can, the default tiddler, so we know where it starts. I'm just going to reboot this. So I'll start from where she sent it to us. So we're opening into the table of contents now? Is that your intention?
I wanted to, but I couldn't get it to stop being on the project outline. Just originally when I started the Tiddlywinky, that was the original first tiddler.
So is this what you want to be the?
I'm trying to join.
Oh, you're still coming. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you can't see. Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to join on my computer. Slow.
Okay. So yeah, so the key, and just to remind everybody of how this works, the default tiddlers. Okay, so that tells you that's a really important thing because it shows your readers where you want them to start. And I don't really like the way that the Tiddlywinky 5 tiddly spots come. It sets the default tiddler to the list of the story list tiddler. Okay. So the story list tiddler is one of these dynamic tiddlers that keeps as its list field all of your open tiddlers in order. So when you close your wiki, when you save it, it will remember that. So it just opens with what you had opened when you closed it, which you might not want. I'd like you to exercise more control. So where did you want yours to start?
Just
on the table of contents. So if this is the tiddler that Jillian wants as the default, then she can set it in the default tiddlers. And so Meg's might open in her resume maker, right? Michael's might open on the beginnings of his story. Marcus's on his card, whatever it is. So you might want to, and you can change that for each project. And if you want to have one for your whole thing and then have your readers choose which project are they viewing, that would work too. So we just set that, and then we go to tools and bring out the home tool, then we can test it. So we start there in the table of contents. Okay.
How did that work for you? But when I tried it, it didn't work.
Because I have magical powers and I'm special.
I tried the same exact thing like 3 times and it didn't work.
Did you save it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it won't work when I save. I don't know. We'll see. But I can't save yours. So anyway.
You needed brackets on it. That was the only difference.
No, you shouldn't because it's got. You don't need brackets because it's a wiki word. So I don't know. I'll play with you. Okay. I think Jillian also asked in the group about how to mess with the table of contents because right now it's default sorting by title of tiddler.
Yeah.
And the reason I was being prickly about that. It's not sorting alphabetically. It's sorting by the title of Tiddler alphabetically.
Yeah.
So it sorts by it always has to sort by a field in a Tiddler. And the field that it's sorting by is title, which is nothing that you ever think of as a field, but it's a field. So if you wanted to change that and you wanted to sort by, content index. Where are you getting that from?
It was something
Let's see.
Derek suggested, but I was in the process of working on it.
Yeah, so you need a field called content index.
I was trying that, like how the, I don't know, whatever website you make that, and it wasn't working.
So if we sort by another field called modified, which is really dumb, right? Why would you do that? That's like when she last modified the Tiddler. If you sort by created, that's when the Tiddler was created. And if you sort by another way to do this is to create a list field in the table of contents and put a bunch of Tiddlers in the list field, and I think that'll work. And if we take the sort off, I think it default sorts by that. No, that's there's a way to do it. You can read about how to use the list field of the table of contents to sort, and you can manually do it, or you can put numbers in a field. So there's lots of different ways to do it. So you do want to control the sort, because sorting alphabetically by title is the least interesting. So you definitely want to control that. Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'm not sure exactly where you're going on this, but I wanted to talk about this one, which is your first project, right?
I was building off.
You're building off. Okay. So if I set this to zoom, then her next field kind of makes sense, right? Because then we're sort of navigating in a defined story and moving through next. What are some of the issues as a reader that you would find this sort of like annoying as a reader? Okay, so we're talking, I'm trying to emphasize in the month of April, which we're heading into, designing interactive texts for readers. So like, why is, I would find this annoying. Would you find it annoying, Steve? Are you in that meeting? Are you able to see it? Or you're not really with us, right? Yeah, pardon? Yeah, so I should join this meeting. I don't know what is going on with this computer. It's dead. Oh, look, it's alive. I'm really sorry that my website is so slow to respond. It's just like, I might fix it. So, Nikki, I can see you're in the meeting. What would you find it? What's annoying about this? You can see if you want to join it. You can find Jillian's table.
Like if you were reading this and you were going through them like that, going through multiple ones in a couple seconds, like difficult.
That does describe what you're doing, yes.
Yeah.
So, would you find that annoying, or is that perfectly reasonable for you?
Maybe more annoying than reading.
What's annoying about it?
Like I said, if you're going through like a few at a time, just constantly going through.
Next. It's like
Yeah.
turning pages in a book, right? Which we've lived with for thousands of years. So what's the difference between turning pages in a book and hitting next on Jillian's slides? What's the difference between this and I did? You know, I find the same thing with PowerPoint presentations, right? You're just hitting next slide. what does PowerPoint do to sort of orient you? You can always see where you are. I want to continue. I want to close my video. I want to make this full screen. Swap shared screen with video. We don't want to do that. I guess that's as big as it's going to get. Okay. So what I was thinking is like you have no context for where you are. You only have choices. You can go back, you can go forward, or you can stay where you are, but you have no idea of like where you are in the whole story. And so it might be interesting to try and provide some of that context. How could you do that? Are all these things you would want to set maybe a tag or a field that would list all the tiddlers that are in your story in order, and maybe between the back and next button you could have a tag that would list all your tiddlers, so you could always kind of go back to or forward 5 or whatever it is you want to do. You could navigate the whole story as well as going back and next. I've been exploring the first, previous, next, last kind of thing, which works well if you have relatively few, like 30 tiddlers, but if you get into 1,000, it's not so good. So you might think about different ways of navigating. The other suggestion I had for Jillian is that this is a ton of work to manually put the navigate twos in, and so you might want to think about ways to make that programmatic. There's if you've got everything tagged, so if they're sharing a common tag, there's a first operator, there's a last operator, there's previous. So you can go to the previous one in your list of tags, and there's next. There's also before and after, and the differences I get lost on. Okay, so you might want to think about building in that navigational structure. So Jillian might be saying appropriately, and I'd be fine with that. I'm using hers as an example. She's saying, I don't want to do that because I'm telling a story and I want to be a storyteller. I don't want to be a code writer, right? So, and that would be fine if she wants to do it by hand. But I just wanted to let you know that there is that structure. We can build some structural elements there. So that would just be an interesting thing to work on if you decided you want to do it. I can't remember your major. So yeah, you want to learn some structural elements, right? Because at least if you're sort of more web, I don't know, depending if you're a nursing major, then I could say, okay, you can tell stories just, but if you're designing games, you have to at least understand that there's first, previous, next, last, that there's movement through a flow. So that's what we're after there. So that would be my suggestion. I didn't look at your table of contents. The other thing that I was wondering is like, what do I do with these? Is this for your next project?
We decided on it yet.
Okay.
I mean, because in the paper there's 2 different.
Yeah, no, I like the idea. It gives you different navigational. But so if I go here, Iroquois Indians, I've got the tags to navigate, plus I've got this back and next, and that's when the back and next are totally out of context, right? Because I don't know where I am in the sequence. So to me, I don't know what back would mean. So as you're beginning to build these out, it's like, that creates challenges for you as a storyteller. So yeah, this is great, and this is great content to work with. So you've got lots of stuff to work with here. So then I think the next step is to then just say, well, what do these different navigational elements mean for me? So that was pretty cool. And I think that was the
That's a bit of a
Yeah.
minor aspect, but just when it comes to that Iroquois page,
Yep.
I want to mention somewhere that they at least refer to themselves as the Haudenosaunee.
That's it.
Ah, my bad.
And yeah, we're primarily focused on designing and writing texts, the structure. So the content is good, and I think that's a really good addition. But I would have missed that. That would have had me reading it. So I would have missed that. And I wouldn't have known it. But this is great because you've got a bunch of stuff in here, and most of you are now, like Marcus is working with this idea, like, well, what do I do? Like, we've got all this content now. How do I create a structure for people to navigate? And I think that's the only one I didn't get a chance to talk about that on Tuesday. So that's the only one I wanted to spend some time on. So I'm going to post those videos. There's a bunch of them in case some of you want to go back and look at them. And then most of the time you guys each have individual things. I know, Marcus, we have to get a card dealer going and stuff. So I'm going to stop unless anybody has any particular challenges that they're facing that they think we could work on. You all set? Okay. I'll be visiting each of you. I've got 12% battery life left, so I don't have much time. James, I think that we're going to stop with our video there, and I will catch you later. I'll look for your email, and I'll post them all